This video is me basically talking about my pregnancy journey so far and what to expect in your first trimester. So initially, I found out I was pregnant very early in the pregnancy because I usually write down my menstrual period days. I usually write it down so I know my cycle length. I know when I'm expecting my next period. Then lo and behold, this one came. The day of the supposed menstruation came, it passed. The next day came, it passed. After the next day came, it passed. I was already like, could it be? I told my husband. He was like, well, let's still see. I think by the fourth day, I couldn't take the suspense again, so I went to get a urine test strip, and I don't know if the urine I used was too much, but the results showed invalid. So I was like, well, no problem. My husband was like, I should do a blood test. The blood test is more accurate, it's better, and all that. So my plan was I was going to do it because that happened on, like, let's say Friday. My plan was that I was going to do it the next week, say probably Tuesday, when I go to my primary health care. But on Monday I went to work and I was sleeping, and then one of my colleagues came and he was like, what's up, Dr. Ayeni? You're fine. And I just told him, and I was like, let's run it. So we just ran it, and he didn't tell me the results on time. Then by the time he came to the office, he was just like, Dr. Ayeni, he said one or two things first. Then he was like, he spinned it twice and it was positive. Like, I don't even know how to feel. Like, this is my first ever pregnancy in my life. That's I don't know, it was very emotional. So I just put my head down. I was happy. Of course, there's been suspicion, but the truth is that it could be anything. It could have been anything. But my suspicion for pregnancy was very high. So I picked up the phone, called my husband, and I told him, husband, congratulations to us. That's happened. We are pregnant. And he was just like, okay. I was like, we have to celebrate. So don't come back home late. So he actually listened to me. He didn't come back home late. Came back, brought some juice. We bought pepper soup. We ate. We celebrated, and yeah, it was going very fine. I was so non-symptomatic. I was loving it. I was praying that God, please let this thing continue. I was praying against every conditions in pregnancy, epimesis gravidarum, spina bifida, all those conditions. I was praying against them. I was super duper fine. And then I think like one more week passed. Then I started having, I think 1 to 2 weeks passed, and I started having more of wrenching and this nausea. I just feel so sick. As a medical doctor, I know all the symptoms. However, I have not experienced it before. And I'll tell you with all sense of sincerity, it is different from when you just have the book knowledge of it. Nausea feels very bad. It feels like you're sick. It feels like something wants to come out of you, but nothing is coming out. Man, this thing went on and on. Initially, I was taking lemon water with ginger. They said it reduces the thing for nausea in pregnancy. Then at a point, it went from that nausea and feeling sick in the morning to feeling sick even at night. And I was like, was this thing not supposed to be morning sickness? Why am I feeling sick at night? And then it went to wrenching. I was just like, oh, oh, and nothing is coming out. Then it went from that wrenching to the very first ever vomiting. Brethren, when I eventually vomited, I think I just stopped the ginger, the lemon thing. I was just like, who this thing help? After all, I've been taking it. It became almost regular. At a point, it became bad to the point that I had phobia for food, because I'll feel like, if I eat this food now, I'll throw it up. I don't know what could happen in the next minute. There was a particular day I just finished eating rice and beans, and brethren, immediately I just finished eating it. It was just like I drank water, the thing went down, and then before you know it. And at a point when it initially started, it was just early in the morning. That was when I vomited. It now went to even at work in the afternoon, vomiting. It now went to even at night. It now went to any time of the day. I feel like I just can't. Wow. It wasn't funny. Earlier into the pregnancy, I started gaining weight. I started as in significant weight gain. I was thinking, what's going on? That was before I even knew I was pregnant. I was trying to work out. I did everything possible to work out, but it seemed like the more workout I did, the more weight gain I got. So I just left it. But man, when this vomiting thing started, I lost weight. I lost like maybe 1 or 2 kg. It was that bad. Initially, I didn't want to take any medication to combat it. But at this point, at the point of, I already spoke to, despite the fact that I'm a medical doctor, I spoke to a gynecologist, and he advised me on the medication to get for nausea and vomiting. What I would say is this: for pregnant women in their first trimester, as much as possible, try to stay away from things. Smell. Yeah, I didn't speak about it. My smelling, or my olfactory and everything, my auditory, it was like, if a mess goes by, I will perceive it. Like I could perceive anything and everything, and it makes it bad, because you can always perceive very bad things. Food, cooking, goodness, my husband was like, most of the food I made are just terrible, but he had to eat them. Like it was so bad. The day I made the first video of the pregnancy series, that was the day we went for the scan. It's exactly 1 week from this day that I'm making this video, and for me, that was like a validation. Yes, despite the fact that I've been having this nausea, vomiting and everything, and my pregnancy test shows that I was positive, I felt like the ultrasound scan was a validation for me. So by this time last week, I've not even entered, but eventually I was able to do it, and we finished very late in the night, and that was why I wasn't able to continue with the video of that day. But looking at the whole journey so far, I'm grateful to God. I wish that I could stay away from anything cooking and smell of food. I wish that the vomiting was not this bad. Ways you can reduce the symptoms: one is to take more of liquidy thing. I noticed that when I take things like pap, tea, not too hard texture, it goes down very well. And when I take food in smaller quantity too, it goes down well than when I eat much more. Another thing is support. If you have someone that can cook for you, or do the basic things for you, that could also work. I don't want this video to be super long. I guess that will be it for now.